What's going on? It's your boy, Emeka here, your host of the Stay Ready Real Estate Podcast, your main go-to if you want to watch someone who's trying to build a lot, your real estate guy who's so passionate about real estate and everything. And yes, you may know that I'm passionate about real estate, but a lot of people don't know why. I try to tell people that you just can't want to make the most money in the world without having a purpose to it, without having a purpose for those funds, right? And this video is going to be all about me, right? I'm going to be very vulnerable in this video, and that's just because I want you to understand me, who I am, my upbringing, and understand why I am and why I'm passionate about the things I'm passionate about today, why I think that no excuses is, a great model to live by. It's because I am, quote unquote, the American dream, right? Cut out all the politics aside, cut out all the noise that you see. I rarely even look at the news, but I believe I'm a true example of what someone can do if they just keep just just blocking out the noise and just getting to a point where there is no excuses and you just got to find a way. So who is Emeka, right? Emeka is a guy who grew up poor, period, point blank. That is the foundation. Grew up poor. Single mom raised me. My dad was never in the picture. I remember, quite frankly, about two things from my dad. My dad went to jail. I'm pretty sure he was, smuggling dope. He was from Nigeria, smuggling dope from across the waters, got locked up. Um, um, and, he was just never in the picture, right? Doesn't really faze me, quite frankly. I've lived majority of my life without it. I'm not really too sentimental about it. And that's okay. It really doesn't bother me at all. But I was raised by a single mom, and my mom worked her butt off in order to get to where I am today, quite frankly. Right from elementary school to high school, we moved dozens of times. Um, and, I can't say dozens, maybe a dozen of times. And it was normal for me. That's why it's easy for me to just pick up my bags and go somewhere, because I've been through a lot. I've been through it all, quite frankly. One of those times that we moved, we actually ended up homeless. I was in middle school, and people who were watching this, I don't know if I have any people from my middle school or high school watching this, but one day I came home and we there was no home, right? We got evicted, like literally evicted. And we ended up having to go stay at my grandma's, and her place probably wasn't more than, 400 or 500 square feet. And it was me, my mom, and my brother. My mom was sleeping on the couch. I was sleeping on the floor. My brother was sleeping on a bed next to the window. And I have a very vivid image of that. It was a one bed, one bath, small kitchen. It's great for, my grandma, right? It's not like, it's just enough. But for four people living there, it was a little bit clustered, right? But we had a good time, right? We had a good time. We made the best of every situation that we had. But at the end of the day, it's definitely not normal, right? In high school, right, I had free lunch. And what free lunch was a pizza, a chocolate milk, and maybe, some fruit, right? And it was that meal often. There was always different options, but, I'm currently like 6'2", 210, right? In high school, I played basketball, played football very briefly as a freshman. I was very active. I was during summer times. I'm playing AAU basketball. I was very active. So think about a growing boy who's burning thousands of calories a day with basketball practice, lifting weights, working out after school. But to have, a lunch with a slice of pizza. And I was bigger and buffer than most people in high school, but I was still, but I'm not even getting as much food as everyone else. And I'm not sure if people notice. I'm sure people noticed that I definitely didn't have money, but, it shaped me, right? It made me who I am. And, high school was definitely different for me. I had friends, and I did have a girlfriend at the time, and they're going out on lunch every day. And if I didn't have people paying for me, quite frankly, I would be staying at lunch. People had cars, they're driving places. I didn't have a car until I got to college. I didn't even have a phone until I think I want to say until like my the end of senior year of high school, going into college, right? It shaped me, right? I remember times where, we had to eat oatmeal for multiple meals a day. Um, we had to we had to eat very minimum, eating pork chop, corns, and macaroni and cheese because first and foremost, it's a great meal. I love that meal. I'll still eat it today, but corn, can of corn is cheap. Macaroni, you get the box of macaroni, it doesn't cost that much. It's because we had to also, right? It'd be nice to have a steak every day. And there's a story where, but I remember where, we actually did have steak, right? Steak, I'm not sure where it was from. I think it was from the grocery store. It's blurry slightly, but we had steak, but we didn't have as much A1 sauce. And I took the rest of the A1 sauce, and I felt horrible because my mom wanted it. She didn't have any. I'm going to say she was sad, but she definitely wanted it. I'm sure she was looking forward to it, especially when you don't have much and this is something you look forward to. But I took the last of the A1 sauce and I didn't even realize I was young, right? And that stuck with me, right? And during these times, while I was younger, at that age, I didn't truly understand what my mom was trying to do or going through. But needless to say, it shaped me. I'm trying to paint a picture of my childhood. I was literally staying at friends' places. Shout out to John and Gabe if you watch this. But I was literally staying at my friends' places for entire summer sometimes, or at least, months or weeks at a time. And if you think about it, right, like my friend's parents, I still got to eat. I still got to do everything that my friend does. And my friend's parents are taken care of. And quite frankly, that was some of the best summers of my life. I have those friends till this day, and they're basically they're brothers to me at this point. But I say all of this is because I grew up different, right? I am the first person to buy a house in my family. To date, I am the only one who owns a house, a home, or multiple in my family. And it's eye opening, right? Because it shows that you can go from zero to something if you just put your mind to it, right? And that's why I'm passionate about real estate because I didn't have much. I went to, I remember going to a school called NIOS. I went to Westwood High School in Austin, Texas, Cane Vista Middle School in Austin, Texas. And quite frankly, I was always the odd one out. I was always the weird one, right? People couldn't relate to me. You got the black folks who I'm not black enough. You got the white folks who I'm not white enough, right? It's really eye opening. I was always a weird person. I go to college and I'm different. I'm not getting. I got a little bit of ways now, but I'm different than everyone because they didn't understand what I went through. Some people still don't to this day. If they're watching this video, this might be the first time they've ever heard me be this quote unquote vulnerable. But I've always been different because I've moved from place to place. I couldn't relate to anyone. Never had money. Couldn't do the things that other people did. Didn't have a car. I'm asking for rides. And quite frankly, we couldn't do a lot of the big things, right? I had sponsors, quote unquote sponsors for AAU teams because I needed them, right? I needed a new pair of shoes. So we'd hustle to try to figure out who could help me get a pair of shoes. If I didn't have college, if I didn't have basketball, I really don't know where I'd be today. I literally don't know at all. And that's okay, right? What's meant to be will be. And it was meant for me to be here where I am today and be in real estate. But why am I talking about this, right? It's because that's why I'm in real estate. Because I've seen what it's like to be at the bottom. I've seen what it's like to not have anything, right? I've never had the fancy pairs of shoes. I've just been a boy, been a man been a boy growing up, a man now, and I have life perspectives, right? And it's probably why I'm not as emotional as a lot of people, and it's because how I grew up. One time, my sister-in-law, I think I asked her like, "Why do you think I'm in real estate?" And in her head, it was to just make money, to make profit, and that was it. And I was upset, I'll be honest, but I'm not expressing my why enough, right? My why is because of that. I want to make sure that my family and my future kids will never have to go through what I went through, because it's tough to watch your mom struggle, go from job to job. We have to ask people for things that it's not normal to ask for. And we had to do whatever we could to make ends meet, period. And it's truly eye opening, because once I got the degree, no, I got the degree, sorry. Once I got my high school diploma, graduated, and I've been on my own since I graduated, right? I figured out a way to make it happen. I got a job during the summer, like every summer. I figured out a way to just always at least feed myself, take care of my needs. I did have a full ride, but I still had to rely on FAFSA, had to max FAFSA because I qualified for it and didn't make enough. But I had to figure out a way to not be in that position ever again, period, period. And I didn't know even during college, what I needed to do, but I did know what I didn't want. And I'm a fast forward through college, right? Basketball helped me out. I was the best person on my high school team, went to college, and I was definitely not. Barely played some, and minutes were inconsistent. But I knew I was never going to the league. So once I graduated and got the degree, I truly thought I didn't made it. I got a job at a Fortune 250 company. I was making 44,000 a year, and I thought I was rich. Man. I thought I had all the money in the world, right? I graduated, moved back down to Austin, got an apartment, got my lifetime membership, paid for my own everything, right? Like I was able to get a membership that costs a couple $100 a month, get an apartment costs I think what 12 to 1300 a month, pay for utilities, and still had money to save and still had time to have fun, right? And then while I was working at this company, I quickly realized like, oh crap, like I'm going to work, coming back, I'm tired. I'm tired. Like I think I was 22 at the time. Um, I'm working my butt off, hustle hard. Hustle has never been an issue for me. I've been hustling. I've been a hustler. I had to hustle. And I quickly realized that like if I'm 22, I'm putting 50 plus hours in a week. Like, is this it? Like, is this it? I I came from poverty, came from homelessness, struggling, watching my mom struggle, staying at friends' house, staying at my grandma's, to eventually get a college degree and get a job so I don't have to do it. But like now I'm here. Is this it? Right? Like when does the fun come in, right? And when can I just do things on my own terms? When can I do things without having to ask somebody, ask a boss for permission? And once I made it, quote unquote made it, right? I haven't made it yet, but once I got out of that rat, that the slums, right? Once I got out of that and I had the job, I had the career, great company, there was just something missing, right? Because I just couldn't understand, like, do I truly just work like this until I retire, until I'm 60? Like 40 years of doing the same thing. It didn't make sense to me at all. And I just wasn't satisfied. I wasn't satisfied. So that's why I actually got into real estate. I went on Google. I actually started watching YouTube videos. Went on Google, typed in side hustles, found real estate, found Rich Dad Poor Dad. I did read that book. And found real estate, got on YouTube, indulged in as much. Graham Stephan is the YouTube channel I was watching. Meet Kevin is the YouTube channel I was watching. Max Maxwell was a YouTube channel I was watching. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Got into the Bigger Pockets podcast. Got into that what was it? What was the term? I'm gonna forget. Whatever. Got into that rabbit hole. Just indulged in as much information as I could until I bought my first house in 2020 in Raytown, Missouri, and it changed my life. And that's why I'm in real estate. And if you've been following along, you know what I'm in, you know what I do. I have a podcast. I'm not going to go into after, Raytown. I'm still in it, but I'm in real estate because I grew up poor. I saw what it's like for a single mother to struggle to make ends meet and to provide for her children. I've seen what it's like for an entire family to just figure out how to make it, right? We didn't have the blessings of things passed down to us when it comes to real estate or belongings. We had to get it out the mud, right? We had to figure out what we just had to figure out what we needed to do by all means to just make it another day, to find that next meal. We were waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the food pantry because there was always a line, right? Like I experienced these things firsthand, and that's what shaped me, and that's why I don't. That's why I hate excuses. Right? That's why I hate excuses. Right? Yes, I do make excuses myself sometimes because I'm not perfect, and will I make excuses in the future about little things here and there? Absolutely, right? My wife is probably has a list of it, but at the end of the day, if we want to get something done, we can get it done. I don't know the statistics, but if you look at single parent raised black children who get a degree, get out, or become millionaires, that percentage is so small, so small. And if you follow me on anything, all the social medias, there's something that I love to say. It's a great day to have a great day. And that's because truly, every time that we wake up, it is truly a blessing because every day isn't promised. There's people out there who are struggling to make ends meet. We were one of those people. And I will never take it for granted. I'm in real estate because it can truly build wealth, not only for me, but for my family and pass it down. And yes, I want to make as much money as possible, but the reason I want to do that is because it's not the money itself. I'm not, quite frankly, I'm not greedy. I wear the same stuff every day. I don't really buy like fancy stuff. But the more money you have, the more you can give. The more you can give to the church. The more you can give to the charities. If it's my wife, the more you can give to raining cats and dogs or animal shelters, right? The more you can give, and that's important to me, right? Because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. I've seen it, and real estate gives us the opportunity to truly make a positive impact to society, to families, and it is possible. It is possible. I am living proof. Because if I can go from homeless, if I can go from not having any real estate education, no investment education, I had to learn all that on my own, right? There's no one like I'm the only one right now who owns a property, right? And I had to learn that on my own. And that's no fault to my family by any means, right? Because who are they going to learn it from, right? Our situation is different. My grandma had to deal with racism. She said, "You don't even want to know the stories I've heard. Like, we truly, we are truly blessed to be where we are today. I am truly blessed to be where I am today. And if you're watching this, I want you to understand that these are the reasons why I'm in real estate, and this is why I love real estate because it opens doors to break the generational curse. Period." Something my wife won't truly ever understand because she can't understand because she came from a great family. Privilege, right? It's a great thing. It's a blessing. That's exactly what I want to be to my kids, right? She had great parents. I had a great mom. but our situations were different. We didn't have as much stuff, right? My mom works today. My wife's family is retired. And this is just reality. And there's no time to really soak in, sadness and all this, all that stuff, right? Because it just is what it is, right? We can't really go back and, change things, but what we can do is focus on the now, focus on what we can do now to be 1% better than yesterday, and what we can do now to make ourselves better, and what can I do now to continue to help, give, and continue to bring wealth and positivity to not only myself, not only to you, but to every single person that I possibly can while I'm alive. So I appreciate you if you're watching this video, because that means you stuck around. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. But that is me. That is Emeka. And that is my why, because I've seen it. I've struggled. There's a lot of people who struggle, but I'm definitely one of those people who struggled. And I want you to understand that it's not always about the money, period. Period, period, period. We need money to survive in America, period, point blank. But we must understand that we can't just be doing things to make more money. We need to have a bigger purpose. I just told you what mine is. What's yours?